So, recent footprints and DNA evidence in Cambodia's forests suggests there are more surviving elephants than we once thought. It makes you wonder how much we're missing in wider conservation work.
It's May 27th, 2025. Let's look at this new study. Did you see the numbers from the latest genetic survey in northern Cambodia?
I did, and honestly, the findings caught a lot of people off guard. For years, the estimate was just a small handful of Asian elephants in the Prey Lang extended landscape. But with DNA from dung samples, researchers identified 51 unique elephants. That's nearly twice what we thought before.
That's quite a jump. How did they confirm the actual number?
They used non-invasive genetic sampling. Instead of tracking the elephants by sight, they collected dung samples across 3 protected areas: Prey Lang, Prey Roka, and Chabe wildlife sanctuaries. From there, they extracted DNA to identify individual elephants and check their genetic diversity.
Why is genetic diversity such a focus here?
Because genetic diversity helps a population cope with disease and environmental changes. The more genetic variation, the better their chances of adapting and surviving. Interestingly, these elephants have more genetic diversity than some larger populations elsewhere in Cambodia.
So it's not just about how many elephants there are. It's about whether the population can really survive long-term.
Exactly. A small group with high genetic diversity actually stands a chance if we can manage the threats they face.
What are the main threats these elephants face in Cambodia?
Habitat loss is the biggest issue. Poaching and conflict between humans and elephants are also factors. The fragmentation of forests has been a big concern. But the study did find there's still a large area of suitable habitat left in Prey Lang.
Does this new information change how conservationists should set their priorities?
It does. The researchers now recommend focusing on keeping the remaining forest intact, stopping further habitat loss, and continuing strong anti-poaching work. If the forest stays connected, these elephants might build a stable, even growing population.
And what about local communities? What role have they played in all this?
It's a mixed picture. In some cases, local communities are a big help. They take part in anti-poaching patrols and monitor elephant movements. Their local knowledge is crucial. But at the same time, economic pressures can push some people toward illegal logging or clearing land, which hurts the elephants.
Are there examples where conservation and community needs line up?
There are. In a few villages, conservation programs have brought in alternative incomes, like ecotourism or sustainable farming. These options help reduce the drive to clear habitat. When people see real benefits, they're more likely to get behind elephant protection.
What about support from outside Cambodia? How did international help factor in?
This was very much a collaborative project. The genetic work was done at the Royal University of Phnom Penh, but they had technical support from the Royal Zoological Society of Scotland. Funding came from USAID and the UK's People's Postcode Lottery. That international involvement brought resources and expertise the local teams needed.
Could this genetic sampling method be used in other parts of Asia?
That's the plan. The team hopes to use this approach elsewhere in Cambodia and in other countries with endangered elephants. It's a way to get more accurate data for better decision-making on policy and management.
How could this affect policies or funding for elephant conservation in Asia?
If we know there are more elephants and that they're genetically healthy, it could draw in more funding and policy attention. It shows that targeted conservation really can work and that populations can recover if action is timely.
Is this story unique, or does it hold lessons for other endangered species as well?
Both, really. It's an unusual good news story for Asian elephants, but it also shows that when you combine science, community involvement, and international support, you can make a difference for other threatened species too.
So it sounds like the key is solid data and getting everyone, from local people to global partners, on board. That's how progress happens, even for animals that seem to be on the edge.
Exactly. And with the right tools and teamwork, there's a good chance we'll discover more hidden strengths in other at-risk populations.
If we miss this many elephants in Cambodia, what else might we be underestimating in conservation efforts around the world?
And which other species could benefit from applying this kind of approach?
Thanks for joining us as we explored the numbers behind Cambodia's elephants and their prospects.
Remember, science has a way of surprising us. Thanks for listening. This episode was brought to you by mynews.studio. Try it out for free.